Yeah, so this is our first Sisters in Branding exploration of what we could potentially do all together. Because I was thinking, this, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. As we could see it as like there's so many of us, there's too many designers or branding people in one group. But actually, I'm pretty sure we all have things we there's always things that will overlap, but for sure there's things that we each uniquely do that we could potentially collaborate with. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Appearing, disappearing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Hello.
Hello. So literally just started, and yeah, just about looking at as we're all in branding and design, there's things that I'm sure we all have different approaches, and then there's certain areas where we overlap, but then there's certain things where we each love doing that maybe someone else doesn't, and there's potential for collaboration with projects. Or there's also like, well, maybe there's a bigger larger project we could, or we could speak to a larger client and do something all together. I just thought it'd be a nice thing to explore and see what we love doing, what we don't so love doing that somebody else might love. And yeah,
I think that would be incredible to shoot for the stars and actually to collaborate up to a bigger project.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about an idea that's jumped into my head straight away after we first talked about meeting up? And that was something, and it's different to that. I love that idea, and I'd really love to be involved in that kind of collaborative powerhouse, I suppose. The idea that jumped into my head was something where if we were to all submit, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 10 close in square images of details of things that we've designed in 2022 to actually create some kind of collage of creativity. Something that whether we were all to take those images and turn them into something, and there would be different interpretations. I thought maybe that would show us color themes or some kind of, just really closed in on little details of something that we've all designed, and see how they all mesh together. If they were all the same cropping, how we would mesh them together. And I don't know what they're officially called, but when you see those amazing collages that create, like from a distance, some amazing portrait.
Like mosaics, or sort of a bit like mosaic.
Yeah.
And I was wondering whether between all of us, if we put in, like I said, I don't know, like 10 little close-ups of different projects we've worked on, could we create something out of, there's a fair bunch of us in this group, that would be quite a lot of little mosaic chips to do something with. Maybe as an annual thing to say, in 2022, here are, this was the vibe. Are they energetic colors? Are they relaxing colors? What does it look like? What did 2022 look like to the branding sisters? That was kind of where I kind of kept swirling around in an idea that I'd love to do that. And then I was really hoping for bigger picture kind of ideas as well.
I love that idea. And what's come to me when you're sharing that is that it's like a deck of cards with different, like bits of design, and it's just reminded me that I had this idea, but that could potentially be opened up to all sisters, to create a sort of a deck of card of with an image and a quote. That's something that might be, be like sisters quotes, and it could be an sort of a business tip and a picture.
Yeah, probably needs to be something quite practical that people could actually use. I've seen other people doing stuff like a deck with PR tips, and each one has a different PR tip on it. I haven't actually physically seen them, but I've seen people selling them. I've seen a couple of other ones doing things like someone else did something. and it was kind of like celebratory moments, like, I don't know, first month that hit whatever, or just taken on a VA or website gone live. It was like a small business moment. So I think I like the idea of the deck of card thing somehow, but yeah, if we make it, obviously we'd have to make sure we didn't overlap on different things.
No.
I'm not sure.
It could be like, you know, say like how you overcame a challenge, or like a business tip to inspire. So it wouldn't just be for us in branding. I think that one could be larger, but it's something that we could be the core of, you know.
Well, I've done some business coaching cards for clients in the past, so I have got a couple of print contacts where they specialize in those sorts of decker card type things. I do have them to hand, but they're kind of under, and I really can't be squirreling away. But yeah, I've been involved in a couple of those. So I think that would be a really nice project, because as much as it's nice for us to have our almost like little core group where, you know, really embracing, you know, the gaggle of branding people.
Oh yeah, we could call ourselves something, a murmur, a branding murmur.
We need to have like what is a gathering of branding and design
branding sisters. Well, what's not a herd of cats, what's a
coven?
A coven.
Let's find a flattering term, shall we?
Yeah. What about collective?
Collective is fine. That's the safest word of all.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it would be nice to. I like the idea of the deck of cards thing, because it could be opened up to sort of some really memorable past sisters, maybe, you know, because obviously there may be some sisters who, you know, when we get round to doing it, that, you know, may have left but have been part of Sister Snog for a long time. So I think there needs to be sort of some ground rules established. You know, current sisters, but maybe like asking Hella if there's anyone who you know, is still a sister at heart, even if they stepped away for whatever reason.
I mean, it's also
depends
like
if we need anyone else, because there's quite a few of us, and if it was doing something like a deck of cards, I mean, just because that's what we're talking about, what was there, 52 cards in the pack, and there's a few people who aren't here yet. There's only a certain amount each, isn't there? We might not even kind of need anyone else. Let's maybe focus on who we've got here and now.
To start with, I'd start with that as well.
You know, you'd have either a quote or a word or a something on one side and some snippet of a visual on the other side. And it might be something that we, you know, it's like, what's your first thought of 2023? What, you know, what do you want to take into 2023? This could be the first bit of merch.
Yes.
I think it needs to be non-date specific though, if it was something like that. So it'd be like, what, you know, it could be, because I think we have very much a sort of this sort of idea of the new start to the year, but I think you almost have different new years, as it were, during the year, and sometimes you just need a fresh start and it, you know, have that new year energy. And that could be at any point in the year. So I don't think it needs to be necessarily. I think if it doesn't have any specific dates in it, it can be more evergreen.
Yeah, but it's like it can be. Well, I personally love like angel cards or things like that. I find them really inspiring. But I'm not saying let's do our own angel card deck. But it could be sort of business inspiration that, you know, take it into 2023 or take it anytime, like, so yeah, I agree, not putting a specific date, and I don't think we'll get it done for 2023. Like, I'd rather talk about it now and maybe start in the new year, because I can't think, I don't think I have the headspace to start it at this side of you know, of the year. I think it'd be something to explore and start next year. But yeah, something where we share, you know, we share our pearls of wisdom, or something that anyone can use, but it's focused, it's aimed at business women, or people in business, but we form the core of it.
So my dog's just barking out there. I don't know if she's been shut out in the garden, so I'll be back in 1 minute.
I do like the phrase pearls of wisdom.
Mm.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Pearls of wisdom. And because we all, you know, again, I think we all have wisdom to share, and from different perspectives and different points of view, or things we learned, and often they come out of a challenge. Wisdom usually comes out when we've had a tough experience of something. Oh, here's your dog.
Yeah. So she was barking at squirrels. It wasn't anything. I was like, no.
Well, she wants to be part of our conversation.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
I was away this weekend, so she's a bit clingy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs a cuddle.
Yeah, not leaving my side now.
So that's, I mean, the card deck, I think, is that's a doable, pretty sort of, you know, I could sort of see it happening fairly easily, like a big project, or also the mosaic tiles. I think that I think it's a lovely idea. I sort of saw like a carpet or you know, piece of clothing or something that would be quite beautiful to, maybe Eleanor can, I don't know, no, she doesn't do textiles necessarily, or Elaine, maybe Bernstein could, I don't know, you know, we could then expand it. We could create the graphics for it, and then another sister could then, I mean, of course, that's expanding. It might be too complicated, or we can just create a poster, or it could also just be digital. So it could be anything. But I think the spirit of it is really lovely, of gathering bits of, sharing bits of design, and then seeing how it works as a collective. And
so yeah,
coven.
With regards to the card, it's really interesting because I've been working on a little project myself on a deck of brand mindfulness cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm like trying to process in my head, how would this work when I launch that, and then there's this as well.
Yeah, it might be too similar to similar things to work on if you're no, I get that.
I mean,
but I'm just thinking though, because this may not be all brand related, like you said, business inspiration and maybe mindset and other kind of stuff. Mine would be very much, you know,
they'd
branding.
be quite different. I think the other one, you know, the one that we've talked about, it's very much about celebrating the sisters and, you know, their knowledge base. And, you know, we've got all sorts of different areas of expertise. I guess it's almost creating a physical product out of the nuggets shared from the kind of plum workshops almost, you know, but it's extracting a really kind of key takeaway, or some, you know, some sort of tip, and, you know, thought-provoking question or something, that's something they can take action on. And it could be something that links in with, you know, the key message of that plum workshop, for example.
I'm just also wondering whether, you know, a lead magnet kind of thing could be created with with a collection of things that have been done in the plum workshop, that kind of thing. So maybe, you know, with a bit of a checklist, a bit of a, like, for example, Andrea talks about accounting today and things to, you know, look out for, that kind of thing. If you're outsourcing, the things you need to think about, look out for. And then everyone always does a checklist for that particular section. Then if we do branding, design, Canva, you know, whatever, that kind of thing. And whether that could be some sort of, but I guess one of the things we need to also think about is, well, what's the objective of this? What are we doing it just for the fun of it? Are we doing it because we want new business? Are we doing it because we want to raise our visibility, our profile? So understanding some of these key objectives will help us to work backwards then and say, right, okay, if it is a lead magnet, if it is this or that, why do we want to do it? What do we want to get out of it? Because obviously all of this takes time and stuff. And I'm sure we've all got stuff that we've not even done in our own business.
There's always something to do, isn't it? For me, I think it's something that should be a visibility, credibility thing, really. And that's why I kind of think if we're the kind of brand design specialists, I think it should be focused on brand and design, because it's it's obviously uniting us, and we've all got our different strengths and slightly different focuses. But otherwise, it might end up being, and who's the audience? I guess who are we doing this? You know, if we want to be visible, we've probably all got slightly different audiences. But I think it is about, I'm not sure. What's the appeal to other people? Why do they care? Basically, if it is going to be a, maybe it's not a visibility. That's how I sort of see it being, a sort of credibility, visibility. It's got to be of interest to people, isn't it? Something that they'd actually benefit from. So we probably have to kind of nail who it was for and what they'd
what's the value to them,
really.
I think there's lots of possibilities. So this particular one, like with cards, I think would be a really nice, that's a lead magnet. It's also something we can give to our new clients. There's something about collaboration and all being sort of stronger together. It's like when we come together and we elevate each other, it's like we each bring our joint energy together, and that creates more. So, if I do my own thing in my corner, it's great. But if we do something together, it has a further reach. Sorry, it's a bit noisy in the background. So this particular, the cards is very, I think it's, yes, it does. Of course, it takes time, and we'd have to decide how and who does that and all that. But that's sort of it's also sort of coming together and creating something collectively. Then I think another objective would be to, as there's quite a few of us, we have this opportunity to then approach a larger client if that's something we wanted. So, rather than doing a one-on-one work, we could collectively approach maybe a sort of more of a dream client and say, well, and that would be fun, and that takes more talking and exploring and seeing how
that for me it excites me. That's because that's something, I want to get into the space of working with a bigger size owner managed businesses. I'm not looking to go into the corporate kind of space. So those owner managed businesses, anything from 500 to X million is the space I'd like to get into, but I know I can't do that myself. I'm not looking to do the brand design side, website. It's purely going in firstly with the brand strategy piece, and then sort of saying, right, okay, who can now take on the copywriting, the design, the website, and for us to then go in and, or to go in and say, look, actually we can do end to end in that sense, and it starts with brand strategy. Right now I do work with other partners to bring that together, but it'll be nice to, because we're all part of Sister Snog, to actually piece something together like a value, a proposition, proposal, that we can actually say, this is what we can go out with, this is what we can do for you, and we've got that credibility and trust between us.
That so many of us are in the visual space that there are probably, I don't know, if you're talking PR and photography, there's probably 20 visual sisters. That's a powerhouse of skills that could come together as a visual sisters type offering. I love that idea. I think that would be really exciting to see how business would take off. I tell you what I was thinking about with the pack of cards, and that's, how Jo Tucker always does her, does she call it like the weekly wisdom, and she picks a card out of her pack of something cards. I could see us using a set of Sister Snog I don't know, deck of cards to do with, those pearls of wisdom. I could see us doing a similar thing where once a week you pick one out. I was thinking of the way that we would integrate everybody is that if everybody submitted a pearl of wisdom, we could also submit a pearl of wisdom, but then we take on the responsibility of designing the back of, say, 5 cards each, and it could be
that could be fun.
It could be you know, a close up in on a piece of typography. It could be abstract, it could be, but whatever visually we feel from that little soundbite of pearl, that little pearl, we you know, we don't do too many of them. It's, you know, because it will be time, but we could find, you know, if you take however many branding sisters there are, it'd probably end up as only, you know, 5 cards, 5 back of the cards to design each.
That's nice.
Based on that little sentence of each card, you know, something
Yeah.
else in mind, whether it just be a colour or a texture or a feeling, you know, it should give us the scope to be able to create the back, also a content for the front for a couple or one of them as well, so that we've all had a pearl of wisdom, but we've done the visual.
And what would be the sort of objective? So when people get the cards, then what would you like them to do?
For me, I think I'd like. Oh no, go for
on.
it, Marianne.
Inspiration, guidance, feeling reconnected. You know, when you're sort of like flustered, or you're sort of going, oh God, where do I go now? Like just having like an anchor point. It's also just like a sort of a business breath, you know, like just taking a moment of reflection and reconnection. Connection is the core for me. And I see that I'd see it wouldn't just be for sisters, but we would be creating it, and then we can all, you know, be a broader, probably business, women in business generally, I'd say. That would appeal to, I'd be interested in buying that.
And what do you see that doing for the collective?
I see that as a sort of a bonding and creating something together that we can each, it should also be fun. It shouldn't be a drag. If it doesn't bring us joy, then we shouldn't do it. Like, and just something, I see that as a good collaboration.
How about you, Louise? Sorry.
Well, I think I can see the sort of the pros of make it quite branding and design specific, but I think it would be more inclusive to really embrace all the kind of knowledge of the sisters. I think we could do a bit of quality control at our end, but I think it would be more in the spirit of sisterhood to make it more of a broader, you know, sparking of like ideas for in business. Obviously ours would be more branding and design focused, you know, where relevant, but I think it would be useful to include some other people. I think it would mean that Hella would be more inclined to make it as part of almost like a welcome pack, which I think would also
that'd be sweet.
I think it would sort of, I think there's lots of ways we can all use it as individuals, you know, because I think that, yes, sort of like when we're working with our clients, we're in that kind of branding and design focused space, but our clients don't just have issues around branding and that they're in business, and that there may be other things that, you know, like Gail talking about GDPR, there'll be stuff that, you know, could come out of that. So I mean, the closest thing that I can think of it relates to is that I was part of a multi-author book. It's called the Business Toolkit, and it was more of a foundation, you know, like it was quite good for people new in business, or just it covered a lot of the kind of basic and foundational elements of being in business. But even if we think certain things are kind of quite basic, I think it's quite good to cover it. But I think if it comes from that point of really sparking ideas, you know, inspiration, whatever aspect of, you know, business, I think it would be more useful to a wider sort of set of people. There'd still be, I mean, ultimately, if we're including the sisters and making it for the inspirational women that are the sisters, those are our target audience. So hopefully everyone in the sisters would want to buy it, and maybe they would also want to include their clients as to like, hey, there's this great thing. So I think there'd be a greater ripple effect if it was, I don't know, I guess it's sort of that, the big sister thing that Hella talks about, of having that best friend in your pocket, that if you're struggling a bit or like, oh, I don't know what to do, that how can I improve my business? Or
and you pick a card.
Yeah.
You could just pick a card randomly, or it could be quite focused on something.
So that's great, because that will be, the features and benefits for people that will receive the cards, read the cards, enjoy the cards. What do you see as the features and benefits for us as a collective putting this together?
Content generation. So I could see myself doing a quick Facebook or Instagram live once a week to just pick a card and ask a question of it, and sort of say, how are people feeling about GDPR at the moment? Do you think it's still relevant for small businesses? Do you think this? Do you think that? It could almost give me content generation ideas based on a collective body of people who have all been involved in it. And I agree with Maria Louisa. It should come from as many sisters as possible.
I agree.
Because we're going to get lots and lots of different lovely pearls on one side. I think that'd be really cool. Plus, I think that, again, it's a really good gift, depending on what the price point is for the printing. It's a really good gift for us to be sending out to our new clients. And I could see it as an asset to be part of my gifting repository, I suppose, as well. But for me, I think I could use it as content on socials, to have something relevant and stuff that people will also, talk about and react with and respond and get involved, which is always great for social,
I've got to say, for me, it doesn't feel so relevant for my clients, because they are tending to be probably, part of a bigger team. I think it's good for people that are more like me rather than more like my clients. So it'd be the visibility aspect for me. If we were going on something like that, it wouldn't be something that I'd gift to a charity I'm working with, for example, or local authority. It's just kind of a bit irrelevant to them. Thinking about is this something for us doing as a collective within Sister Snog, or is this something we're doing for Sister Snog? Because that makes a difference, doesn't it? Is it something we're doing to focus
and I think it's also,
what unites us as a group, or the bigger things? Otherwise, it's almost selling something into Hella, isn't it, and making it part of
I was going to say, and then is it then a case of like what Mindy's then doing with a collaboration book kind of thing, and then getting people to pay into that, and or how are they going to feel if they want to be part of something like this?
It's kind of like,
there's costs involved.
Raise a pack of cards, 52 cards. I don't know how many members there are of Sister Snog at the moment, but
you can have more than 50 cards in the coaching cards. So I think we've got a bit of flexibility with card numbers in terms of encompassing, and there'll be some people who won't bother bringing something in. You can only invite people to be involved, but I guess I see it as a more accessible dipping in of knowledge or sparking action than say a book. Like a book is you've got to read through it and stuff like that, whereas it could be something that gets you thinking, it takes action, it could be used in lots of different ways.
And the cost aspect is important, because I think that it would be okay for each person who's in it to pay a certain fee. Not, it shouldn't be too high or anything, but it's because, well, one of us, 2 of us, 5 of us, 10 of us, or 8 of us are going to have more input. And again, there it's like, if Artie, for example, you don't want to do any designs, I think that's absolutely fine. Like, you just say, no, I'm just going to add my pearls of wisdom. I don't want to be involved in the visual aspect. And it'd be like, well, we can And I mean, that one is like, it's feels a bit like a starter, sort of testing as well, how we'd work together, or, you know, seeing how we
I feel like the more people involved they're more of a project management job.
Exactly.
That is what always takes the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I say it's easier
and also
X amount of things each than to get it from other people and collate it and unify it and quality control it, like you were saying, Marie-Louise. Because let's face it, if we're going to do something, it needs to look good, sound good, feel good, and really be aligned with how we want to be perceived.
Exactly.
So we don't want it to be awkward if someone going back, someone's like, sorry, that's, you know, not up to scratch.
Well, I think it would be important if it is going to be a more general or broader, you know, celebrating the sisters' knowledge, as it were. I think we'd need to involve Hella and, you know, see if she can get involved with some of that, because obviously it would benefit her as well. And I think she's got a real insight to who the members are, and, you know, she's sort of very good at picking out what could be a real key kind of pearl.
I think we've got to come back to what Andrea said earlier. You know, is this something for Sister Snog, or is this something for the brand collective in that sense?
I'd rather it be something for the brand collective from purely selfish point of view, but you know, we've all got limited time and things on our hands, and this, you know, we've got a lot of talent here between us. I think it's something that really, I don't know what it is or what we need to do, but I think it should be that celebrate something that we kind of specialise in. That's why we've set up this group, and that's why we're doing this. And obviously it's great that we enjoy each other's company, and, you know, we get to do social things as well. But I think probably do need to have a business hat on with this, because you know, like we're saying,
should we create some sort of ebook or something that could be, because that, or something like that.
I need to go because I've got a meeting, but I feel like this is brilliant as a start, you know. It's, and really like each of us really sharing an sort of an ideal project or something we'd love to do, which maybe as each one of us individually, we're not, you know, we can't approach fair trade because we're maybe a bit too small, but actually as a collective we can sort of maybe starting to think about that sort of a project that we'd love, that would get all of our creative juices going, that we could create together, like the deck of cards. That's something I feel excited about. You know, maybe two of us can do that, whatever, you know, maybe it's not the thing that we're doing all together, but it was like an idea that emerged.
I think it's a great idea, but I think there are also like other ideas that we could maybe come up with as well, that could get the ball rolling. I think like the deck of cards is like a project for next year, but maybe there's something that's smaller or more immediate, or that is very design and branding focused, that we can kind of showcase.
And I think it's important that, you know, whatever we do spend time, money, effort on, that it does work towards some of our own kind of goals and intentions for 2023. Otherwise, you know, it's very easy, and, you know, being in the creatives, we can easily get sidetracked, and then we're like, oh, but we need to do money generating things for 2023. But I worked on this, do you know what I mean? So I think we just got to think how we want to spend our time doing our money and efforts in this. You know, I really like the idea of going in with a comprehensive, like, this is what we can do for you with our collective kind of thing.
I could see the mosaic, say, being a quick win, because if we're looking back to stuff that we've already designed, closing right in on tiny details, and then creating some bigger graphic from all of our collective works, which you couldn't say, ooh, that's a brand for this business. You've really zoned in on the colours, the shapes, some kind of really focused form. But actually that gives us a bit of a scope as to, oh my God, look at Andrea's typography, it's unbelievable. You know, this, you know, it might give us the understanding of each other's skills and favorite bits, which then lead us to a more confident place to go for bigger projects. But that might be a quick win of stuff that we've already done to showcase what we do towards creating a collective.
Well, maybe it's
So,
something
ladies,
that we
I
could
have to leave
submit.
you,
Yeah.
and sorry, I need to go. But
I think we'll have to have go away, have a think, and
Yeah.
reconvene.
Yeah.
okay?
I think
We've
we can,
started
yeah,
the
have a think
That's
and
been
work.
great.
Yeah.
Let's
Cool,
have another
okay.
session
Good start of
and
meeting.
keep on thinking. All
Thank you.
right,
Thanks.
that was
Bye.
great.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Ah.